welcome. Good morning. We were doing, what is it, the sprinkler? We were attempting to do the sprinkler. I'm tired now. Woo! Good morning and welcome to Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. We're very serious people. My name is David Ault, and it's such an honor and a privilege to serve you as I'm out of breath, as your senior minister. I want to acknowledge a collective of people that are absolutely amazing. As you know, for many weeks, I don't even know how many weeks, there was a survey that you were invited to participate in. 451 people participated in that survey. And right now, as we speak, the Board of Trustees, the rest of them are still at Highlands, North Carolina, and they've been doing their retreat since Friday night. And part of the retreat and part of the intention and focus is to glean all of that information and then begin to assimilate that and create plans and intentions for how to put that together. And we sat around this big boardroom table up in North Carolina talking about the enormous amount of talent that exists within this community and the fact that so many people are selflessly offering that talent in such beautiful ways. And the people who put together that particular survey, who brainstormed and who were the collective behind that and who devoted hours and hours and hours to the creation of that, they called themselves the Dream Team. And I just want you to let you know that the main spearhead person who began all of this, who volunteered his time, his name is Joe Labriola. Are you here, Joe? Would you stand and let us acknowledge you? And so I believe Joe was the one who gave them that name, the Dream Team. And they existed of these just powerful people. It was Karen Ratz. I know she was here first service. Carrie Patton was here first service. Joe, Candace Henry. Candace, are you with us? Daniel Eldridge was on that team. Thank you, Daniel. Somebody you might know, Tracy Owens was on that team. David Aurelio was on that team. And also 3 of our board members, Tom Woodward, Lori Palco, and Niall Dawson. And so together, those minds, I'm just so honored. And one of the things that we talked about was the fact that we are so very, very blessed with hearts and minds that are willing to carry out that intention. And so I just personally wanted to say thank you for that. And to get right down to business is Mr. Survey himself. Survey says, David Aurelio.
Good morning. I am the number one answer on that survey. Full points for that one. Well, also, just a quick added note about the survey is the board is going to be putting together a kind of a synopsis to give you the results of that. So all of you that have participated, and we're going to send out a special email blast to everyone. So that'll just be the survey results, a quick 15-minute kind of overview of everything. Then later on, throughout the coming months, they'll be giving us more information as we do more things, like we're going to have focus groups and some other things to really glean, as David said, more information from that. But you'll be getting the results very soon. So again, look for that. Welcome to the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. We are a center that recognizes everyone on their spiritual path. We hope to be a place of great inspiration, thus allowing you to tap into your inherent greatness and to live the life you love. And we do so in so many ways. I can't believe we're midway through June. Unbelievable. But but I felt it with 90-degree weather. So it was a little bit of a shock coming down from the mountain. It was beautifully cool. I had a sweater on, and we got down, and all of a sudden I was like, what am I wearing a sweater for? So anyways, it's June. Lots of stuff going on. Let me give you a quick update. Always, again, inside your program, the best way to keep up to date was that flyer. Take it home, use it, and utilize it. Whatever you need to do, burn it. I don't care what you do, but it's yours. Take it. A special thank you, first of all, to the practitioners. Practitioners last week started giving us these affirmation cards as you left. When you leave today, you'll also get another. You'll be collecting them as we go out throughout the month, and maybe even after. But what the best part about this was, especially in this month of increased income, is that you can reference this. It's an affirmation for prosperity. Look at it. I put this in my wallet all week. I pulled it out when I was getting money out. I was putting it in when money was going in. So it was also good stuff. So please, thank you again, practitioners, for all the work into this, and get that when you leave today. Super Soul Summer. I'm going to put urgency on this again because we're almost filling up. I mean, we had great response this morning. There are still spots available. Find a host home. We have 19 of them around the Atlanta area. Find them, sign up. This is the small group book club that we're going to be doing throughout the summer. And so I encourage you to get there. If there's not a group nearest your home or work, don't worry about that. Last year we had people who just signed up for a group and drove over there, met people they didn't know, and they became great, great friends. So please take advantage of that opportunity. The signups are out there. Daniel will be out there at the table with the map and can help direct you. So please sign up because we're going to get started. Host meeting is next week. I'm sorry, yes, next week, for God's sake. I mean, I told you, June is like slipping by. So next week is the host meeting, and then we start the week of the 28th. So let's definitely make sure you get signed up for that. And I know you're all going to be here next week because it's the Father's Day barbecue. So we've got Father's Day, we've got the barbecue with pig and chick. I always want to say something, but I won't. I'm going to be good about it. There's just something funny that's always in my head. I fight it every week. I fight it. No.
Don't do it.
I can't. No. It's not appropriate. Maybe next week. But anyways, so it's for the youth program, $10 for adults, $5 for kids. You don't want to miss it. They're even so organized, they've got takeout. So, I mean, my God, they've thought of everything. So join us next week. Celebrate Dad, Mom, the whole family. Come and see us next week for that. Glee Spirit. That is gays and lesbians and everybody else. That's what Glee Spirit stands for. We are doing an event on the 27th of this month to honor the Pride, gay pride throughout the United States, throughout the world actually. But this is a specific event in the month of June. We have amazing speakers, all for free. We've got a happy hour for free. We've got some entertainment that'll be for free. We've got a movie. We're going to be showing the screening of Stonewall Uprising. That's going to be a small cost for that. And if you want to join us for dinner and the movie, it's $15. Bargain. But anyways, tickets are outside. But the reason I tell you that is because I need a count for dinner. So we need to know, you can come that day for the speakers or the movie, and that's all well and good. But if you want to eat dinner with us, I need you to buy in advance. So Scott will be outside after the service. I think Reggie will be with them. And then they'll be out there selling tickets and giving you all the information about the speakers. So please join us on the 27th. That's this Saturday. And then SLCA Summer Camp, Day Camp is going gangbusters. Summer Day Camp is for ages youth 7 to 12. Camp activities include music, magic, puppets, yoga, mindfulness, cooking. There's free time they're going to be so much fun. And they're doing a community performance on that Friday from the book Brookie's Adventure, written by our own Jean Bell. Now, if you've ever seen kids perform a play, you do not want to miss this. So I definitely want you to join us for that. But anyways, if you've got kids 7 to 12, join us for that. Penelope or Mary Jane, I think Mary Jane will be outside afterwards. So please, please, please get the information about getting the kids in camp. This would be the opportunity to shut off any cell phones you might have so we can have a peaceful and meditative time. Is there anyone joining us for the very first time today? If you could raise your hand high in the sky. If you could stand on up so we could welcome you.
Wow.
We have a gift.
Hey. Hey guys, how are you? There you go. Yeah.
What you are receiving is an empty CD case. It sounds like we're cheap, doesn't it? We give you something empty. No, we're giving you a CD case. You can redeem that at the welcome table for Reverend Dr. David Ault's talks, especially selected for you. Today is new member orientation, so lucky day for you. You can join us for that after the second service, or anyone actually. This is the time you need to specifically join us. If you have information or questions about the center, this is the time to get all the questions answered, and we'd love to have you. 1 o'clock right after. And then one quick note, sorry, David. Nick and his beautiful wife, you remember Nick performed last week. Could you stand up? So his wife, so anyways, Nick just told me before service, his beautiful boy, Bash, was here. Well, they raised all the money just from you guys last week for all this stuff. So, thank you to all of you. Have a great day and a blessed week.
That's incredible. That's awesome. Wow. Also, too, for those of you who might have been thinking or talking about, I know some of you came up to me about wanting to go to Turkey with me in August to Istanbul. This is the final week, so if you're really serious about that, then make sure you can speak to me or take the flyer outside in the lobby afterwards. Programs, let us stand together. Inside is what we call our Declaration of Principle, and I'm going to invite you to read that with me. I believe in one God, one absolute power and first cause to all things. I believe that this power is perfect love, and it creates out of a desire to express love. I believe that all thought is creative, and how I choose to think creates my personal experience. I believe in the unity of all life and the immortality of the individual soul forever unfolding. I believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of God to all. Remain standing. Your song is on this inside handout. God is my source.
God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything. God is my source. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything. Joy is my source. God is my source. Joy is my power. Joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Joy gives me everything. God is my source. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything. Everything I need. God gives me everything. Everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
Turn to those around you and say good morning and welcome.
Minister on the loose. Okay, somebody had a birthday.
Sorry,
All right.
I was in California last week, you know.
And it shows, it shows.
It does. So welcome. All right. So I invite you to allow yourself to take that energy, that love that permeates. You know, love is energy, right? And so energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be worked with. It can only be allowed. And so I ask you to now to allow that energy of love in within your heart, whatever's going on for you, and give yourself a mental vacation for the next hour. Just stop thinking about what needs to happen or what isn't working, and just allow yourself to be fully present. You might want to take everything off of your lap, uncross your legs and arms as we go into that meditative, contemplative time. And we are so blessed to be led this morning into our affirmative prayer with our practitioner, Idella Veal.
Good morning. What a beautiful group this morning. I have the pleasure, I'm a practitioner of working with a group of maybe 8 people for increased income. And this past week, I sent out a note and said, let's practice imagining our life being the way we would like it to be. Just get a mental picture and be with that. A lot of times we may ask for things and may not be aware if we're in a comfort level to even receive it. But I asked them to ask the question, how would it feel when that comes to you, your desire? What would be different about your life? So, I'm going to speak this prayer, affirmative prayer, in first person. And I ask that you take what I say, personalize it as your own, whatever works for you, what reaches out at you. And I ask that you sit tall in your seats, taking about 3 or 4 deep breaths, and smile. The energy of a smile is relaxing and it brings goodness and joy throughout your body. So just smile and just allow it to flow. And this is what I know. I recognize that God is the only creative power in the universe. God is all there is. All-knowing, all-powerful, everywhere, all the time. And I unify with this power. I am one with this forever evolving power of oneness and allness. I am the individualization of God. And I invite the fullest expression of God in and through all. Because all that is true for me is true for everyone. I know that the Spirit of God within me is the source of my health, my power, my wealth, my prosperity, and my love. I release any and all resistance to wealth and abundance. I know that I am deserving. I am deserving and worthy of God's best. And why? Because it's my birthright. I am a child of the Most High. And I stand in my truth. And I own it. I make choices and steps in my life that are in alignment with Spirit, that continually bring me clarity, ease, as I continually thrive in the divine flow. I am comfortable living a life of wealth and abundance. The truth is, my truth is, wealth agrees with me. And I continually allow it in my life. I am blessed with loving, joyous relationships, monetary and spiritual affluence, and a healthy, fit vibrant, alive, exuberant body. And I love it. I feel God's radiant power moving through me. I am an illuminating, radiating, vibrating vessel of the energy of more than enough. I can feel it. And just feel that energy moving through every cell, every organ, every drop of blood. I am powerful. I am resilient. I am invincible. Yes, I am woman. And I am that I am that I am that I am somebody made of God's stuff. And I love that too. I love life, and life loves me, and I love me. I can feel every cell, every organ, every drop of blood in my body. Just feel it. Feel it radiating in the vibrant energy of God. This is the power that creates worlds and universes and moons and stars, and it flows to me and through me. I'm a walking, breathing center of infinite possibilities, infinite potentiality, infinite wisdom, infinite love, compassion. And I stand in my truth, and I own who I am. I give thanks, appreciation for all that I have. I give thanks for this center from which I'm spiritually fed. And with unwavering faith and absolute trust and confidence in universal law that always says, yes, 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 Idella, yes. I release these words of truth, knowing that I have all that I say. All is well, as we say together, and so it is.
With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. As I open and allow, I know right here and now, I create a world where wonders never cease. With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me.
Thank you so much, Idella. You've seen her on Broadway and off Broadway. She's here from Manhattan, has a home here in Atlanta, and is a wonderful member of our community. Please welcome Terry Burrell.
is a hopeless jumble, and the raindrops tumble all around. Heaven opens a magic lane. When all the clouds darken up the skyway, there is a rainbow highway to be found, leading from your window pane to a place behind the sun, just one step beyond the rain. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over that rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dared to dream, they really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon that star, wake up where the clouds are far behind me. All my troubles melt like lemon drops way up on the chimney tops. That is where you'll find me. Somewhere over that rainbow, bluebirds fly. If birds fly over the rainbow, why? Then oh, why can't
Terry Burrell. She'll be on stage at the Alliance Theater March 2016 on a one-woman show, so make sure you check that out. Thank you so much, Terry.
Oof. Y'all are funny. You got them saying, ouch. That's an expression of love. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this summer because I've been in love with the writings of Neville Goddard for a very long time. When I was first introduced to him some 30 years ago, I used to try to grab every leaflet, pamphlet of this 20th century writer who was so profound and prolific in the world of metaphysics and mental science, particularly around the topic of our imagination. And how thrilled was I when Joel Fotinas at Tarcher Penguin told me that they had gone extensively through all of his writings and put everything in one big volume. And it's called The Power of Imagination. And I'll just tell you, you can find a Neville Goddard stuff all over the place. You can YouTube and listen to transcripts of when he would speak. Mostly, those are from like the 1960s era. But all of his stuff is around. But this collection, this has every single thing in it. And I thought, this is what I want to spend time with this summer. And I invite you to spend time with me because I think that the topic of imagination and the fact that you walk and possess your answer all the time is one that will never grow old and never be weary because it's something that is a lifetime practice. And I will just tell you right up the front, you use your imagination all the time. All the time. In fact, you used it today. But typically what we don't realize is that if we're not hyper-aware, if we're not conscious, if we're not deliberate in the use of the imagination, then most of the time what we're imagining is our worst-case scenarios. And they're very vivid and colorful and dramatic and filled with all kinds of nasty people. And of course, because you're powerful, then that becomes our reality. So this is a summer of consciousness. I just deemed it so right now. Summer of consciousness. And let me put it to you this way. If you had an illness and you went to a facility, a doctor, and they wrote you a prescription, and the prescription was this: you are to go home and fully submerge yourself in water. Whatever way, whatever methodology that you do that, but that's what you're supposed to do. When you do that, when you fully submerge yourself in water, you will immediately begin to feel the results of relief and that restorative power coming back to you. You say thank you, you take your prescription, it says submerge myself in water, so I go home and I would do what? You would do what? Submerge yourself in water. That is your prescription for the philosophy and the application of mental science. You are to submerge yourself in these principles, in the thing that you already possess, which is your mind, and the ability to train that mind and to focus that mind on what it is that you want. You are to submerge yourself. And then upon doing that, becoming so saturated that it becomes your natural state, then immediately you begin to see and feel the relief and the result of honoring that particular prescription. And here's what we do, because I know you know that, and here's what we do. Put my little big toe in. I don't really get invested in the water, right? I stick my toe in. I have somebody else come stick their toe in to see, if it's satanic or not, Here, read this, and you tell me what it does. Or here, you go to this place and listen to those crazy people, and you tell me. Here, you do this affirmation. Here, you sign up for this program. Let me watch you. We're not fully invested in it, so it's as if we stick a toe in. Sometimes we put up ankle deep. Sometimes we get waist high, and then we get nervous, right? Because it's so chilly and uncomfortable and unfamiliar that we want to run back to what's familiar instead of just plunging in. Plunging into the truth and the solution that is there. And so today, the conscious plunge is exactly that, the metaphor of realizing that you already have the ability. Everything that you and I desire, say that we want, we've already established the fact that creation is all. It's birthless, deathless, timeless, and it is there, and everything has already been created and installed into that place. Our job is to access that which is already created access the solution that already exists, access the relief, access the expansion, access the dream fulfilled, because that's our privilege and that's our job, and that's the beauty of why you are here in human form, is to prove that you do have that ability beyond the odds, the seeming odds of what race thought or humankind tells us we can or cannot do. And that's the thing. You go, that's absurd. I don't have to buy that limitation. That's not who I am. All I have to do is take the conscious plunge into consciousness and devote myself to that, to fully submerge myself. Because I really want to know, what are you committed to? Because everybody's committed to something. Sometimes we're committed to people. Sometimes we're committed to our craft. I've seen amazing people who are committed to their craft, to their talent. You know, I watch the Tonys. I love watching the Tonys every year. I imagine Terry up there accepting her speech one day. I want you to imagine that with me. But I look at the volume of those people, and I look at the countless hours and the countless stories of how they plunged into a craft. I look at you, and I consider everything that you've done to plunge yourself into a lifestyle, and I go, okay, that's what you're committed to. And we're committed to things a lot in the world of form. But I'm wondering, are we committed to the framework of consciousness? Are we committed to the idea of transforming our own mind, our own set of limitations that were handed down to us by people who didn't know any better? Are we willing to transform and become committed to proving this principle of unlimited possibility by the vehicle of us? Are we committed to that? Are we willing to plunge into that, or are we still just sticking our toe? Are we still wanting to hang on to what's familiar and what everybody else is doing because that's simply convenient? It doesn't require anything of this. This philosophy, and I told my students this on Thursday night, I said, this path requires something of you. This life requires something of you. And that requirement is to pay attention, to simply be conscious of what it is that you're choosing to dwell upon. And as we become conscious of that, then we begin to realize that we have this magnificent, I'll call it a pantry, like a kitchen pantry, that has every ingredient that you need to create a fulfilled life. It's as if that pantry is installed within you. And it has every single thing, everything that you didn't realize was even in that pantry. You are a well-stocked kitchen. And there's nothing that is missing from the shelves of that pantry within you. Everything is there. And so we have to become committed to recognizing and honoring and choosing those things that empower us. And so in this book, The Power of Imagination by Neville Goddard, which is this anthology of all of his writings, it is some good reading. You've heard of some good eating? Well, this is some good reading. He says in here, later on in this book, he says, when you understand the redemptive function of imagination. Now stop for a minute and think about that. The redemptive function of imagination. To be redemptive, to be redeemed means what? To be restored to your immaculate nature. When you understand the redemptive function of imagination, you hold in your hands the key to the solution of all of your perceived problems. When you understand it, what does that mean? To understand that you already possess this full-stocked kitchen, this amazing pantry, this solution of everything that you need. When you understand that is within the bounds of your personal imagination, it means that you hold within yourself all solution. You hold within yourself all freedom. You hold within yourself every wish fulfilled, as Neville Goddard always says. When you understand that. And so last week, one of my dreams was fulfilled. I got to speak at Agape in Los Angeles. And It was an amazing experience. And when it was over and I was standing outside and greeting people and signing books, I had Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta business cards on the table. And there were so many people going, I'm moving back to Atlanta. I'm moving back to Atlanta. Gave them a card. Gave them a card. It's going to be really crowded in here. But, gave them a card. They're watching the live stream. That's one of the things that happens is when I speak on the road, our live stream numbers go up, which is awesome, because what we're doing is we're expanding ourselves, which is a part of our intention. To reawaken all to their spiritual magnificence means it's not contained within these walls, that it's happening and spreading out. And so as I was conversing with a lot of people, I'm always, when I'm reading stuff like this, so it's on the forefront of my mind, I'm very, very aware of comments that people are making. And one that kept popping up to friends of mine and to people that I was meeting while I was in California was this: who will take care of me when I'm old? Who will take care of me when I'm old? Who will take care of me? Lots of people are experiencing aging parents, and they're going through all of the stuff that happens with that. So it brings up their own mortality issues. It brings up their own circumstances. And so they start to question, what's going to happen to me when I get old? Who's going to be there for me? I listen to the tone of that. And when I hear that, what do I hear? I hear fear. What do I hear? I hear the imagination working, which it does so beautifully, and it's painting a picture of what? Of not good mystery, because there's great mystery, but impending doom mystery. This thing of I'm going to be left alone. And so if you possess within yourself this realm of imagination by which you are the directive of that, then what do you get to begin right now in this moment to set the stage for the rest of your days on this planet? That each and every day I am what? I am beautifully taken care of. Each and every day I find my communal tribe of individuals that enhance my spirit, that lift my soul. Each and every day, at every corner and at every turn, I am meeting exactly who I need to meet in order to elevate me to a higher standard of living, to raise my consciousness, to celebrate life with me, and get the juice out of every single day until I take my last breath and I fly off to the next experience. So tell me, which feels better? That or what's going to happen to me when I get old? Because it's the same use of what? Mind. And you know this already. And so I want you to start to look, and I'll call it this, the standard things that you worry about. By standard, I'm meaning those kind of same old race-conscious ideals that everybody's, I almost said bitching, but I didn't, bitching and moaning about, that are doing that, because that's what everybody else does. You are not everybody else. You are not rooted in race thought ideal. You know better. I love that phrase. I used to hate that phrase when I was a kid, you know better, because it always came with a wagging finger. You know better. But now reframe that and imagine the universe going, you know better. Your knowing is better. Your knowing is better than it was a day ago or a year ago, or particularly in your adolescence. Your knowing is better. You know better. And that is an affirmation, not a condemnation. And when you know better, then you have the understanding that you are not bound by those standard things that everybody keeps talking about. And so you have the opportunity to use that realm of imagination to see yourself in expansive circumstances. The other one I kept hearing, there's not enough single men. Now somebody wrote that on the survey. It was anonymous, so I don't know if it was a man or a woman that wrote it. How many of you have said that? It's dark in here. Go ahead, raise your hand. whatever it is that you prefer. Think about that statement. Because you are the master of your what? Your imagination, aren't you? And when you say things like that, and you think sometimes it's in jest, and sometimes some of us are really good with our sarcasm. And what I've become to notice about sarcasm is that sarcasm is the lazy man's way of bypassing responsibility for their feelings. And so, when you say things like all the good ones are taken or there's no one left, that's a cop-out. That is convenience. That's actually hiding some unexpressed fear that you have that you're not enough. It's not that they're not available. It's that you don't feel positioned and ready to be loved because you are not loving what it is, the gift of you. And so you start to see that all of those standard things that we say and toss out, whether through sarcastic expression or through exasperation, that's the use of our imagination. So Neville writes that the man who is not prepared for the conscious plunge, and that's where I got that title from, the person, I'll do it non-gender, the person who is not prepared for the conscious plunge into the assumption of the wish fulfilled. The assumption of the wish fulfilled. What does that mean? So, take away the negative context of the word assumption. And so when you create an assumption about something, you formulate what? An idea. So a positive assumption. So in other words, you're creating a mental prototype of the wish that you desire. And by the way, the wish fulfilled, Wayne Dyer book, all Neville Goddard material. So, good, whatever way it wants to come out. So, the person who is not prepared for the conscious plunge into the assumption of the wish fulfilled, with the faith and the understanding that it is the only way to the realization of their dream, is not yet ready to live consciously by this law of assumption. You're just not ready. I'm not ready. Some of us are not ready. If we're not willing to consciously plunge into the atmosphere, the mental framework, the imagery, the all-sensory components of the thing that we say that we want, if we're not willing to spend time and do the plunge into that, then we are not ready to live consciously by this particular law. However, and this is what I love, he says, although there's no doubt that that person does live by that law of assumption unconsciously. Meaning what? That the law is constantly working. So whether you're using the law consciously or unconsciously, you're still using the law. It's the same thing about making a choice. Some people go, I'm not going to make a decision. I'm not going to make a decision. Well, you just made a decision. Most of the time that procrastination is about, I don't want to look foolish, or I don't want to make a mistake, or what will people think if it doesn't come through the way that I want it to do? So you think as though you've put the pause button on something, when in actuality, all that you've done is enhance the stagnation. So to choose, you choose. And when you choose something, if as it's unfolding you go, I don't think so, They smelled good the first time, they don't smell so good right now. I don't think so. And so you have the opportunity to do what? Choose again. I thought this creative thing would be what I really wanted to do. It's not floating my boat so much. So, nah. Or I thought this geographical location would be the thing that would heal my heart. And so I moved away from my problem. When in reality, I just take my problem with me, and so whatever it is that we're not choosing to do, we're still choosing. And so the same thing holds true for law. The more that I refuse, this is good, the more that I refuse to take the conscious plunge, and I'll say that there's two different pools. There's the conscious pool. The more that I forget or resist or don't think that I am good enough, or it's inconvenient, or it's too mysterious to take the conscious plunge into that pool of consciousness, I'm doing what? I'm taking the conscious plunge into the pool of unconsciousness. which is just all that race thought ideal and smallness and fear and lack and limitation. So I'm still swimming. I'm still submerged. I'm drowning. Because you don't get any floaties in this pool. Over here you get some floaties. Oh my God, I go away 1 week and you're just crazy. All right. And so what imagery comes to mind for you? What imagery comes to mind for you when you think about the conscious plunge into that vast arena of possibility? What it means is that you don't see the bottom. You don't see the how. You don't get all of the particularization about how this is going to work out and this and that and the other, because that's none of our business. Because your imagination is so unlimited that the universe wants to bring you things in ways that you haven't even begun to think about, through people you haven't even met yet, in opportunities that you haven't even been able to conceive yet, but in your imaginative open mind, you've said yes. And so the universe goes, great, somebody wants to play. Somebody finally wants to play. So let me bring that to them. And so as we begin to look at how we do this, there's a section in here called the truth that sets you free. And he says, since your life is determined by your assumptions, or we'll call it the use of law, what it is that you assume in mind, because your life is determined by this, you are forced to recognize the fact that you are either a slave to your assumptions or their master. To become the master of your assumptions is the key to undreamed of freedom and happiness. What does that mean? It means that I'm assuming in my mind all the time. If I'm not consciously and deliberately directing it, then I'm actually the slave to those assumptions because they're just bouncing everywhere, right? But I can direct them. I can say, no, I'm not going to choose to waste another 5 minutes on this particular worry. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go and cinematically, I'm going to see myself in that solution. I'm going to feel what that feels like. I'm going to allow that relief and that freedom to bubble up inside of me. I'm going to see myself laughing. I'm going to honor me. I'm going to see people respecting me and me respecting them. I'm going to feel that love. I'm going to feel that childlike innocence that my cynicism has buried. I'm going to feel all of that breathing again. I'm going to open up that well-stocked pantry and I'm going to begin to find ingredients that I forgot that I possessed. And I'm going to cook. I forgot I could cook. And I'm just going to go. And so imagine that. Imagine that. Composed to the untrained or the undisciplined mind that wants to just keep rehashing the standard why I can't do something over and over and over again. And so in biblical scripture, there's often the phrase, rest upon the Lord, or resting in the Lord. And what we know about the word Lord is the Aramaic use of the word Lord means law. When you rest in the law, when you rest in your usage of the law, what are you doing? You're using the law and you know that the law is doing what? It's working. It's working. You see, when we pray, every time we pray, we say the Aramaic translation of amen, which is, and so it is. Look at those words. And so it is. Not, and so I really hope that this happens. It's definitive, isn't it? It's declarative, and so it is. Look at the strength of that sentence. When I say, and so it is, I don't then go back into the recesses of my doubt and go, hope so. Hope the world cooperates. I hope, and then I create these sort of, anxious anticipations and responses of what I think that the world or you should do for me. But when I say something and I go, and it's like the capstone, it's like that point on that prayer that says, yes, now you have it, universe, and I will take my hands off the micromanaging and the how. And now I will return back to my imagination, and I will do my part by living in that state and seeing myself and just allowing the relief and the freedom and the love and all of the things that I crave and I deserve to feel those things alive within me. That's my responsibility. That is resting in the Lord, resting in the law. In another section called attention, he said, when you know what you want, you must deliberately focus your attention to the feeling of your wish fulfilled until that feeling fills the mind and crowds all other ideas out of consciousness. That's that thing, that imagery I've told you before of pouring in the crystal clear beauty of water, intention into the muddied, unconscious vial of our mind. And the more that you do that, the more the mud dissipates. And I start to crowd out what? The stale thinking. I start to crowd out the doubt because I have been exercising and building up the muscle of my mental capacity, using my imagination. So you have an imaginarium inside of you, filled with the opportunity day by day to take that conscious plunge into the commitment of doing the work. The commitment of doing the work. And what I love is when people say, I hear the stuff about the ebb and the flow. I'm not real crazy about the ebb. I would just like the ebb part to go away. I just want to flow. And I go, well, you know what? Ebb and flow actually work together quite beautifully. I said, because think about it. If you literally took the ocean wave and there was no ebb, then it would just be tsunami time, right? It just would keep coming. And then that would kind of ruin and destroy. There's a very beautiful synchronistic process. If all you did was exhale all the time, you have to inhale sometimes. Sometimes you have to stop and take a breath. If it rained constantly, if you wanted to literally take the word flow and the skies opened up and rained upon us all the time, then what would happen to all of the vegetation and all of nature? It would rot. And so sometimes it has to dry up. And so what does that mean for you and I? What does that mean for you and I? It means that when the ebb appears, what do you also know? That the flow is coming right back. But there is a pause. There is a breath. And what I know and what I hold sacred about the pause and the breath, or whatever the ebb is that that's when we do our work. That's when we dive into the use of our imagination. That's when I go into the conscious plunge of doing that. Because think about it. If it was always flow, I would then take for granted the work. I look back and I used to curse those dark nights of the soul and wish, especially when you're in them, right? And you think there is no hope. And I go, that's when what's so beautifully illustrated in Scripture when the master teacher Jesus says, Lord, take this cup from me. It's as if, take this ebb from me. If there's any other way that I can avoid this, take it away from me. There was no other way to avoid that. Because in order to have that experience, what did he learn? The immortality of us, the transcendence of us, the resurrection of us. If we don't have the ebb, then we don't learn. But here's the beauty. The ebb doesn't have to suck the very life force out of you. It could be the thing where you and I go, yay, ebb. And I could say what? It's time to do the work. It's time to do the work. You see, if everything is handed to the child, if everything is done for the child, then the child becomes handicapped. literally handicapped in the worst way, emotionally. If everything is handled for you, then you become skillless in the way in which you understand your strength and your resilience and your ability to rise above. And so we start to look at the ebb and flow as a very systematic opportunity for us to do our work. And so if you're in an ebb, or if you're not in an ebb, the ebb's coming. But the opportunity is to realize that the ebb has been given a bad rap. Because the ebb, think about this, the ebb can be so profoundly sacred. Ooh, it's time for me to go within. It's time for me to pause. It's time for me to go back into the sanctuary of my knowing and to get still so that I can then process and proceed to the next evolution of my expression. And so we get to celebrate it all. And through that, we use the imagination. Your imagination gets strengthened in your ebb. And so let's go into the laboratory. I want you to close your eyes. You're going to do your work today. So I want you to think of something that is stressing you out. Person, place, or thing, whatever it is. I want you to just give yourself the opportunity to feel what it is that you feel about this situation. Whatever insurmountable odds that you seem to think that you are up against. And once you have that mental imagery, I want you now to give yourself the permission to imagine that that situation is completely resolved. Not about the how, but just feel the feeling of resolution. Feel the feeling of freedom. Feel the feeling of relief. In fact, almost imagine that your shoulders go limp with, because that whole thing has now been taken care of. Allow the all sensory gifts that you contain to begin to be at work with this imagery. Allow yourself to see wherever it is that you might be. Allow yourself to get a sense of that relief inside of your chest where that knot had been. To feel that just opening up. Allow yourself to hear whatever is going on around you. Allow you to feel the facial muscles actually kind of tired because you're smiling so big. Where are you in this imagery? Feel the sensation, smell the smells. But just lose yourself in the solution, in the relief. Just breathe. And now try to sustain that feeling as long as you can. If your mind wanders, all you have to do is just return back to the sensation of the feeling. Perhaps even see yourself throwing your head back and laughing because it's done. It's completed. You did it. And then as you breathe collectively together this morning, know that this is the place. This is the laboratory. This is the use of your imagination. This is the gift that you possess that brings to you what you say that you want. And so know with me this morning that individually and collectively, we take the conscious plunge into that infinite realm where we sit in the stillness and we let that beautiful realm of imagination create for us everything that instills freedom within us. We allow ourselves to transform every restriction. We allow ourselves to transform every self-deprecating thought that we have had about ourselves. And we see ourselves beautifully rooted in strength and health and joy and prosperity. And knowing that this opportunity is within us at all times, we now commit ourselves to do this as often as we can. Throughout our day, revisiting that solution over and over and over again. And if you are in agreement with me, then we're going to say that Aramaic phrase, Amen, and we're going to say it together with great conviction. Here we go. And so it is. And so it is. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Stacy, come on up. The other Stacy. No, I'm kidding. Anything to be grateful for?
Oh my God.
And would you lead us in our affirmation for grateful giving?
I'd be delighted.
Cool.
I'm just so grateful to be here today. I'm grateful to be asked by surprise. I'm grateful for surprises. I look forward to surprises all week long. And I'm also grateful for all the wonderful people who are here for the first time. And I hope that you have gotten something that you needed and were looking for. I know I do every time I'm here. If you will, say with me our affirmation for grateful giving. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow. And all that I share with life returns to me, multiplied abundantly. And so it is.
Yes, Stacy, great. Thank you so much. Please welcome back Terry Burrell. And the song we're going to perform is composed by India Ari, and on the road this summer with India Ari, and part of her tour is Emra Kotan, and he was on this video that was released, so we want to honor him as well.
Said all my fears were limiting my potential. Said it's time to step into the light and use every bit of the power I have inside. And what you waiting on? Who you waiting for? If you don't take a chance, you'll never know what's in store. Just do you. Somebody's got to be a star. Just do you. Somebody's got to raise the bar. Just do you. Somebody's got to make a change. Just do you today. Every mountain needs someone to climb it. Every ocean needs someone to dive in. Every dream needs someone to wish it. Every adventure needs someone to live it. What you waiting on? Who you waiting for? If you don't take the chance, you'll never know what's in store. Just do you. Somebody's got to be a star. Just do you. Somebody's got to raise the bar. Just do you. Somebody's got to change the game. Just do you today. If you create a change, then you make all the rules. And if you just do you, there's no way you can lose. to climb it. Every ocean needs someone to dive it. Every picture needs someone to paint it. Every dollar needs someone to make it. Yeah, I think that I messed up, 'cause I'm not in the same place as this. Just do you, somebody's got to be a star. Just do you, somebody's got to place the bar. Just do you, somebody's got to change the game. Just do you today. Jerry Perez.
On stage at the Alliance Theater, March 2016, with a one-woman show.
If you would remain standing, and I'm going to invite our prayer practitioners to come forward. They're going to line up. I want you to look at their faces. Look at these beautiful faces. They are here to do what's called an affirmative prayer, a conscious plunge for you, to let you. So if you are intimidated about walking up to them, memorize their faces, and then grab one of them outside and say, do your thing, do your thing. And I want to remind you that our new member orientation is immediately following this in a few minutes. And so let us sing our closing song together.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. So grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
We love you so much. Have a great weekend, everyone.